I'm Rob Licuria, Senior Editor at Gold Derby, here with Emmy winner Pamela Adlon, creator, writer, and director of Better Things. Pamela, Better Things ends with this joyful, endearing farewell to the audience, with the entire cast singing Monty Python's Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. I think it's perfect. I'm wondering, why did you decide that you wanted to end it that way?
Well, I had these, and thank you very much. I had these two Eric Idle cues that I really wanted to use. I was in love with the idea of using the Galaxy song in the season premiere, and which if you read into it, there's so many layers and so many little things that we've embedded into the season that pay off later. And so Sam is you it was my way kind of addressing like us coming back from COVID and not putting masks on everybody's faces and talking about it. And it just went hand in hand with always look on the bright side of life. The Galaxy song, how we're all just little specks
Yeah.
in the universe. And we've become just really so kind of insane, dangerously narcissistic, that it's a way of changing your perspective in life. And so I really wanted always look on the bright side of life as kind of a send off to really the fans of the show, the people who've been with the show and with this family and this village and watching it. And you see Max and Phil are back in England, and it's just really I like that, and I feel that I was able to kind of go there without it being too much or too
Yeah.
cheesy, because
Yeah.
we kind of earned it a little bit. I was
I think so.
hoping.
Yeah. And the thing is, I said to you offline how I missed the show, and that's because it so lived in and so authentic. It just felt so immersive, like we were kind of just going along with Sam and her journey, right? And I also wonder, given that lived in quality, how do you think you've grown as a director? You've directed, I think, every episode from season two on. When you look back, what would you say was the one takeaway that you really grew as a Helmer in the director's chair?
It was really about, for me at off the top, it was about the ability to make decisions. And I remember my first AD, Maria Mantia, season one, she said, that is going to get you so far, just being able to make decisions, because it makes everybody's job easier. And learning and growing these muscles. And what I do and what I love are the things that I poured into the way I wanted the show to look, feel, sound. I was able to incorporate all the things that are aesthetically pleasing to me into the show, and then try things that I always wanted, like uh, and learning about like the camera package, and knowing that I always want a split diopter, but you have to ask for it earlier, and then
Wow.
not getting too caught up in things like toys and lenses, because I know that that's not my thing. That's like Danny's thing. It's something that I'm learning as I go, but I know that my strengths lie in what's in that frame, and
Yeah.
the way I want it to look, and what I can do and give to the actors, and for myself. And that's the biggest thing, when for me, being an actor my whole life, it was anathema to me. I would never want to tell an actor what to do, because when
Yeah.
I was 19, I was doing a play and I said to this one guy, I said, can you just push the shopping cart faster? They're going to see the severed head in the shopping cart. And he just looked at me and he screamed, "Nobody tells me how to act." And he threw a chair at me. And I was like, I will never tell an actor what to do again. And then I became a director and I was like, I had to. And so it was like baby steps for me about things that I could share. And as an actor, having that sensitivity. And
Yeah.
so if I have a direction or something for an actor, I would never yell it across a room. I would always, even though I'm in it and directing it, I would just go over to them and say, I have something for you. And then it feels like it's not, you don't have to get defensive or what have
Wow.
you.
That is fascinating. I hear that a lot from actors who then move on to directing, that sensitivity, that empathy, because of your familiarity and your experience on that side of the camera. And I think people maybe forget that because you're a performer and you're so well known for your writing, that you've done so much directing on this show. It's really, a lot of this is your vision. There's one thing in particular that I've really loved about season 5, and in fact the whole show. It's how you frame certain scenes and build them. You use really interesting things like FaceTime, black and white still photography, the GoPro, for example. They're not gimmicky though. They feel really organic. Again, everything we do with Sam feels lived in.
Yep.
And also because that's how we curate our own lives with photography, GoPros, or FaceTime. What attracts you to mixing it up on the show so that it can be taken in by the audience in a different way?
Well, that's how I became a filmmaker because I, when I talk about like the trajectory of my career, I say to people, don't be so myopic. Do other things. You don't have to just sit there like as an actor and wait for the phone to ring. As a director, make yourself available in other ways and innovations. And so I had been recording things and filming things my whole life. So since I got my first cassette recorder when I was 11, where you press play and record at the same time, and I would read cookbooks into the recorder. And then, when I got a Super 8 camera and when I learned how to develop my own film, and then I shot my first film, which was a documentary on 16 millimeter, and I cut it on 16. And and I was writing songs, and I was and just I had a camera in my hand for about 15 solid years, and I photographed everything and I recorded everything. And so those are mediums that I'm comfortable with, and
Yeah.
I'm a very analog person. And so putting that into the show was a natural
Yeah.
progression for me.
Yeah. It felt that way. The show's tone as well is really unique. It's often really funny, but it's sometimes quite bittersweet and even melancholy. I think that's what attracts fans to the show. It just feels really real and raw. What's the key though to unlock the right tone? Because too broad and it diminishes the emotion underpinning Sam's story. Too serious and then it's no longer really a comedy. So how do you navigate that?
That's a really good question. I just think that you allow those feelings. And, I learned a lot about writing from, being on King of the Hill, which was
Yeah,
an animated show that the writing to me was extraordinary. And I've learned the most by anybody who allows air to live in moments, in scenes. And I love uncomfortable moments that can, like I say to the actors, just let it sit there like a fart. Don't try to fill in the blanks. It's okay. We can handle it. Let's let the discomfort set in.
yeah,
because actors always feel like they have to like do a little boop, at the end or
Yes.
something. It's just like, everybody relax. It's going to be okay. And so, there's definitely a balance. Like, I love, I love the spaces in between. And I feel like we've kind of killed ourselves with all the black and white, the extremes in terms of everything. And
Yeah,
that, it's the in between that, this world, certainly in this show, that's where it lives. And
it does.
that's getting kicked in the teeth, and that's getting, kissed on the fanny. You know what I mean? At the same moment, maybe.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Pamela, I wish we had all day. Unfortunately, we don't. Thank you for such a great series. We're going to bring you back for our group chat shortly.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.